My goodness, this is one fan-freaking-tastic looking start screen. But without mucking around, I'm going to jump straight into a new game of Terra Invicta. And the first thing that we have to do is respond to some events. In this case, a UFO has crashed down in Russia. We are playing as the Resistance in this case, one of the 8 factions, one of the numerous factions in this game. And it's sort of, oh my god, they're based in New Zealand. If you don't know, I'm from New Zealand, and that is freaking awesome to see. This is one of our councillors. We start with 2. We're going to try and get ourselves up to 4. We have 1, Amy, in New Zealand, and then we have Paulina. Neat. Over here in Russia. Okay, very good. Each councillor has their own set of skills, and the game will basically auto-pause once every week or 2 to allow us time to assign our councillors to certain positions. So Amy down here has 6 persuasion, 6 espionage, but 0 science. So thick as all high hell, but incredibly persuasive. Okay.
What's the op?
Paulina is even more persuasive and really terrible at science. That suggests to me that we might need to get some people to fill our blank spots. So if I jump up into the council screen, we get a better look at these wonderful ladies, and we're going to recruit, like I say, maybe someone who can fill the gaps a little bit. At the moment, we don't have a lot of this currency influence, but we're going to get someone become influential as we start to put our operatives, our councillors, to work. Let's recruit somebody fairly cheap. No one really has any science to offer. Aha! Sally! Sally Yan. You're hired. Yes. Neat. Okay, so now we have Sally, who's producing 10 science, much better than these 2 others combined. Let's get one last person to round out our set. Dan Bij, the loyal tycoon from Australia. Oh, he's a little expensive. In fact, everybody's too expensive. Let's roll out with these 3. Zooming out for a quick second with Sally Yan saying, "Hello, Jumbo, thank you for bringing me on board." Here is Earth. This is, of course, a really complex and detailed geopolitical simulator. It's a fascinating one at that. And here we can see Russia's GDP, the state overview, the military power of the state, of course, one of the states with a lot of nukes, and the will of the people, and how the people feel about different factions. You can see my one here. We're all about resisting the aliens, baby. And we're not very popular in Russia. In fact, the Academy are really the people here. But we could have a look around the rest of the world. We could try and find territories that have military units. We could find territories that have certain resources. It's literally entirely up to us here to figure out what territories we want to try and influence and take over. To take them over, we're going to need to grab control of their control points, and we can do that through these missions down the bottom. And why don't actually we start with little old New Zealand? Here's Amy Crawford, our diplomat. We can get her to control nation. And you can see there's a 79% chance of success. And that's controlled by a lot of different things, but largely public opinion here is undecided. The country full of sheep haven't quite found their leader yet, if you will. We could also up our influence spend down here to increase our chances even more. You can see that taking over New Zealand is literally a cakewalk. I'm going to do it for the memes. 79% chance, not bad. Now, we come over here to Paulina, who's next door to Russia. A territory here that actually has some pretty useful resources, like Boost. Boost is the resource that, go figure, sends things up to space. We'll need to get control of the US or the Russians or someone maybe to get some good amount of that. So looking over Europe here, where I'm thinking about where to put Paulina, we can see that there is actually currently some conflict going on here in the Ukraine. We also have Belarus and the Baltic states combined into one. These guys are actually fairly undecided. Maybe we could send Paulina, the very highly perceptive and persuasive Paulina, down here. She's got a 73% chance of taking that. Russia, a 4. So you can see there's a lot of variance. I reckon the Baltic states look kind of tasty. Let's grab them, and we could even up our chances by splurging a little bit of influence. Let's push it up to 87%.
Bringing them on board.
And now we have one more councillor by the name of Sally Yan. Now, she's not actually very persuasive. And if we have a look in here, actually, go figure, a largely polarized United States. I wonder if we could... No, it's a big, hard no. I'm going to send Sally here to investigate this UFO crash down site. There we go. Go on, Sally. And now I'll confirm my assignments. Neat. With everybody busy, we should be able to move through. Boom. All right, so I've unpaused the game and I've started the timer. Because if you don't know, it is technically a real-time strategy game. Like you can see the date ticking over up the top here. I can speed it up and slow it down and do all sorts of wonderful things. And we can continue to look around the world in real time, have a look maybe at some military conflicts that are going on, and of course, run into events in between. Here we can see the UN Security Council is meeting. We'll quietly steer support towards the resistance here, I think. Gaining a little bit of influence for us. Very important. Okay, so our trusty councillor Sally Yan finished investigating. Nice one, Sally. We got some science and some influence. Very good. And we have a new objective to research alien signatures. Take me there! And here's our objective screen with all the different things that we're trying to do. If you want to see a screen with a whole load of different things, you should probably explore up the top here. Particularly, I'm thinking about research and development. Here's our science stuff. We can contribute to these sort of global scientific research projects. Mission to Space, Skywatch, We Are Not Alone. And then within it, there's a tech tree where we can unlock our own individual advancements for our own individual factions, certain guns, etc., whatever it may be. But we do need to try, at least, to advance the global cause a little bit so we can put the science that we're generating toward these things. Studying new ways of influencing the public. Actually, that sounds like a bit of me. And we're going to research a special project called Alien Signatures in Xenology. Because we discovered that sample before, it'll allow us to detect alien abductions on Earth. Very good. All right, our control mission in the Baltics was a success, and we now have 1 out of the 2 control points in that nation. Well done, Paulina. You've outdone yourself. And also in New Zealand, go figure. Our control mission was a success. Nice job, Amy. You did good. All right, so a week has passed. It's the 8th of October. It's time to assign our councillors. It appears we have some supporters in Madagascar. Say it ain't so, Sally. Right, Madagascar, GDP 45 billion. Doesn't seem particularly good. I mean, there's a little bit of science there. Says the guy who took New Zealand. But first, let's head back up this way.
Reporting in.
I did notice that one of these territories had some pretty core resources. A core economic region here, Poland. How about 34% chance? Not great. Maybe we just continue to build up influence around here. Or, you know what though? Here's kind of a fun play. We have a lot of influence saved up. We can roll Poland up to an 84% chance and then grab it for this core economic region. If we have a look at Poland, we can see, yeah, that's a much better economy than Madagascar, go figure. But also way better science, so we don't yet have control over its priorities. But if we jump here, we smash up the influence. Tempted to go all the way, but it's really not worth it for the extra 3%. So we'll try and balance out this negative multiplier and grab this nation. Go on. You go. Seeing as Sally is here right next door to another councillor, let's make contact with them. We'll use up Sally's turn to talk to another faction in the game. Those factions are, of course, also trying to take over the world. We've got New Zealand under control, a relatively minor nation, it would be fair to say, but it is ours. Here we can set the national priority, and as you can see, there is basically every single thing under the sun that we could set to try and set the direction of New Zealand. I'm gonna choose, with no real insight, industrialization. Let's industrialize this bad boy. What we could do is turn it to sort of more of the victor spoils, basically burn the country down, harvest all the money out of it, but we're going to try and support it instead. However, I don't think we need Amy standing here to do that. Let's send her across the ditch, maybe, jump across to Sydney, Australia, and spend a whole load of influence on her, so that we can try and grab this core region, which also has some useful resources for us. Let's grab it. 80% chance. Go on, Amy. Your Pacific Whirlwind tour is off to a great start. What I should have done probably, actually almost certainly, was save some influence for an extra councillor, but one more week won't hurt. Let's confirm these assignments, push it through, hit the space bar.
Reaching out.
Oh.
You shall not hinder their arrival.
You shall not hinder their arrival. Okay, it doesn't look like we're off to a great start with Mary here, especially. One of the countries, of course, that we would like to get our hands on is the US of A. You can see a whole load of different military units here, a whole load of resources. If we jump into one of these territories, you can see an overwhelming number of science, 467. That is huge. That is huge. siege.
We've gained significant support.
Dang, they are strong. We could try and move in there and sort of influence them with public opinion and that kind of thing, or we could look to engage in some stealthy operations as well. Either way, we have successfully
We'll
taken
be ready for
control
your
of
orders.
Poland. Very good.
We've gained significant
And
support.
also Australia. Even better. Probably worse, to be fair. I wonder if I can get control of this point as well. And then we can start to get a better control over the executive, over the legislature, and really fully gain control over Poland. It will mean that I can't recruit another councillor, though, because I'll have to spend a lot of influence to do it. So what I might do instead is opt for a different mission. Maybe a public campaign, increases public support in the nation for our cause. We could put a bit of money into that instead, a resource that I haven't really spent much yet. However, I mean, the success chance is already so high.
I will tell
Run the
our
public
story.
campaign. Get the people
Why
on
not?
board. And it looks like we've tracked this woman to South Korea. A very interesting nation. Hello. Controlled by the initiative. North Korea is too. Interesting. Snagging control out of here will be far too difficult. We might abandon this. We are a fantastic scientist. We should maybe move somewhere where we can use our skills a little better too. Okay, so we're going to send Amy back to New Zealand to try and get control of the military while we save up a little bit more influence, because it is clearly the resource that I'm lacking, so that we can grab more territories and so on and so forth. And just after I did that, one of my councillors was spotted. Not ideal. What I'm going to try and angle toward is really building up a stronghold here in Europe, because I feel like this is where a lot of the action's going to play down, particularly because it's already a hot zone. We've sort of slowly influenced the people of Poland towards our cause, which is great. Our adversaries have conducted a crackdown on our legislature control point in New Zealand. Why? Why? Why would you do this? We could have a wee nose through some of these tabs at the top too. Although actually I've just been distracted because our science mission has been completed. It's time for me to select a new research project and a new engineering project at that. We've already started this audience one. These are all kind of the just generic sort of ones that will convert science into other things. A small bonus to our capacity to manage control points. We're totally fine. Operations, we're fine. I reckon we go with this audience research and try and get more influence. And here is our beautiful solar system in all of its glory. Obviously, we won't really need to, or even be able to, jump out here too much yet. We are, at the moment, generally speaking, an earthbound species. But man alive, there is a big world out there waiting for us. I'm going to recruit our next councillor before it's too late. Let me try and find somebody who's cheap and reasonably skilled across the board. Daniela Schutz. Schutz, she's loyal. Dang. But I think we'll go with Mr. Song instead. Welcome aboard, friend. It's a pleasure to have you. And our mission in New Zealand was a success. We have now completely, I think, converted the nation to our control, no? Yes! Fantastic. We have control of the legislature and we have control of the military as well now too, I think. Very good. Our control point in Australia would be better protected from enemies with a defend interests mission. All right, our studded lineup of councillors ready for another move. Let's think about what we want to do. First and foremost, we've got our New Zealand Australian correspondent here who has just done fantastic work across the board. Amy is absolutely due a promotion. Let's jump in and have a look at her first. She's completely secured New Zealand. We could look to like stabilize it or surveil it maybe, but I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we actually want to bring her across the ditch again and try and continue grabbing the most valuable parts of Australia first. I have almost no influence to spend, so I can't really even increase my chances that much. A 67% chance? Why not?
Establishing our presence.
Let's roll the dice.
Yo,
Back over in our European base, things are starting to get a little bit spicy as well. Okay, we've got two councillors here. Let's get Sally out and doing what she does best, which is kind of just sort of not really a lot, really. Sally's not overly useful. I kind of regret hiring Sally. God, I regret hiring Sally, but I'm not going to fire her either. She's got a 50% chance to improve the loyalty of Paulina, or a 96% chance to investigate our new councillor. Let's do it. Let's spy on, get this, ourselves.
we must
Okay,
persuade
Paulina,
people.
let's do one
Ready
more
for my mission.
campaign here. Let's get old Sally doing what she does best. Nothing. Sally. Okay, so Huang's a journalist, and that means that we can do some different interactions. What we could do is pump a whole load of money into Russia and try and use our public awareness campaigns to start to flip some of these more interesting regions, right? These regions have boost capacity, for example. They have all sorts of interesting resources that we'd love to get our hands on. So let's do... We could increase... Oh, we could take this a few different ways. I think what we'll do with the start is not investigate ourselves, but rather conduct a public campaign with a whole load of money behind it and a 72% chance. Go you! And we're off for another week. Slowly gathering resources. As I pan around the world, I don't see too many other factions in control of territories. We know that Korea is already under control. Japan would be a really interesting one right next door too, actually. Also, a little bit of boost in space capacity behind them. Yeah, I'm thinking about the US, Russia, Japan. I'm also thinking about nuclear warheads as well as boost capacity. So I'm thinking about all sorts of other places as well. The UK, France, the list goes on. Wow. Our public campaign was a success. The people of Poland stand with us. Slightly more. It went up from, if you didn't read it in time, 10% to 25%. Interesting. And then, for context, our Russian one went from 1% to 3%. So our support in Russia, much harder to attain than our support in countries that are already a bit friendlier to us. And if we have a look at the breakdown here, you can see actually still quite undecided, right? Poland, very undecided. But slowly, we're gaining support. The resistance, you can see we're up to 25%. Go us! And we've lost control of the legislature in New Zealand to Humanity First. Horrendous. Sounds like real life. Control nation mission success. I've gained a control point for the resistance in Australia. Neat. Okay, so we gain Aussie, we lose NZ. Let's pop back over there then with some councillors and take a look-see, because we're about to be able to reassign them again. Look at this dirty red hand. What is this? Why would you do that? Of all the places that have yet to be influenced. And we still have some supporters in Madagascar. All right, Sally, you love Madagascar so much. Why don't you go and get it yourself? Oh, wow. She actually can. Look, she's really onto something here. Sally, huh? Clever gal. You know what? 73% chance. You love it so much. Just go get it.
Our presence.
There we go. All right.
Reporting in.
And now, back in Poland, we'd like to get control of another point here. I have a little bit of influence that I could tap into it just to make sure it is a success. Let's put it up to 87 and do that with Paulina in Poland. Very good. Very good. I love that so much, actually. Boom. And we've encountered humanity first. Yes, we know you. We know you oh too well. Their councillors are unknown. We can have a look at some interesting stuff here, though, can't we? For all of these different people, actually. Their relations with us and others, and also their technology and what they're looking to pursue. Okay, so we successfully stabilized Poland a bit. Our European base of operations now looking really fantastic. Ooh, and our surveillance telescopes have detected an alien fleet entering low orbit 1. Take me there. Let's have a look-see. Ah, Victor 1. Not really a lot we can do about that at the minute. We'll just bury our head in the sand and pretend like that didn't happen. It's time to select another advisory team. This gives us kind of an overarching buff to one of our resources, triggered by our advisors, but also I think my understanding is just by different sort of points in the game and the overall story. Last time I chose more ops points and didn't use them at all. This time we could focus on economic development, or international aid, welfare priority, knowledge priority. Let's do economic development. Can't go wrong with a little bit of econ. Speaking of which, we now have 2 out of 3 control points in Poland. Very good. Keep up the good work, Paulina of Poland. And Madagascar as well. Oh, I'm really thrilled. Nice one, Sally. Okay, good. If there are 2 control points there, we'll get Sally to do that again. If not, we won't. We've also just grabbed the 3rd control point in Australia. Very good. Across the board. Let's jump across and grab a little bit more of Australia, because I see in the Nether Eatsogi, Western Australia here over in Perth, there's another resource region that I'd like to bring under our control. So let's grab that with Amy. Surely. The old gal. She's still got it. Humanity First fails purge mission. We have learned Humanity First failed a purge mission that was targeting the New Zealand executive. Okay, Amy, we may need a special ops person on our council. We might need to fire or hire or something to try and get this out of here. This is problematic. Amy, what can you do? I need you to do something in New Zealand. Defend interests, fortify our control points in this nation against crackdowns, purges and coups. Let's do that. Because for whatever reason, New Zealand is hot. So let's get her back across the ditch to defend. Polina in Poland, we could also grab control of their executive now. That would be the last little bit that we need. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Let's put it on a development focus. The only thing in the red here is warfare now. I'm sure that's fine. And we'll attempt to gain control of the last point and eat 2 measly influence points in. Go, Polina. Back over here in Mad As Gascar, if we have a look, there's only one. We already have the people here well and truly under control. Let's maybe jump across here. I mean, really? Do we? Really? I'm just going to try it. 42% chance. I don't have high hopes, but we'll see how she goes. And just for fun, I'm going to send my journalist to investigate Polina. Even though Polina is absolutely our star, and we don't want to offend her at all, I'm going to do that. We've successfully defended our interests in New Zealand, which is fantastic, because of course that is the promised land. And now I think we'll continue our Australian expansion. We'll try and grab this whole big blob down here. Speaking of grabbing blobs, we've improved our knowledge about Polina. And we have pinpointed their actual loyalty score as 15. So basically what we've done there is increased Polina's loyalty score, effectively. I just don't like them having control over exactly what's being researched, when it's being researched, all of that kind of thing. I'd rather steal that out from underneath them and take control of it ourselves. Speaking of taking control ourselves, let's throw a party because we've just taken Poland, baby. And another failed Humanity First purge in New Zealand. These guys really like New Zealand. What is going on? Why is that our most important territory? We've identified some new organizations we may want to acquire. Oh, thank you, Amy. I will actually be in touch with you right now following that hot tip. Perhaps we should surveil New Zealand as well. We've got this area of Australia completely locked down. We've got this area of Australia completely... Like, we are just the bomb. However, lost a little bit of New Zealand again.
People in place.
Aye. What we could also do is spend a little bit of XP to upgrade some of our councillors. We could upgrade Amy here as affluent, for example, for 10 XP. Let's do it. Makes a good living. Nice one. You deserve it. You deserve it. Giving them the survivor trait makes it very hard to kill during episodes of mass violence. That feels like a good thing. We'll give Polina that because she's very important. Let's actually give them a little bit of what they're dishing to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to find one of their stupid territories, like maybe that one in India. This one, Somalia. Let's do it. We're going to do a crackdown in Somalia with our journalist. That should maybe flip it out of their control. We're going to fight far with far in this case. And I'm going to continue my European expansion by gaining control of another nation. Let's make it... Belarus. Let's do it.
Establishing our presence.
Standing by for orders.
Oh, and old Sally Yan over here did actually successfully take this place, even though she only had a 42% chance. Sally, I am so proud of you. You've done very well. Let's get her then... Ooh. War over Somalia. 61% chance. Let's do it. We're going to do a crackdown, and then we're going to try and take it for ourselves. It's a double whammy. Take that! As I zoom out of the world and get a fantastic look. Oh, man. For a game that is very deep in the detail, it's improved a lot also since the beta, but what I was really going to say was it's quite smooth. We lost their trail. Like, I'm really impressed with the level of simulation going on here. Unfortunately, I'm not so impressed with our crackdown, which was a failure. We had a 75% chance. We rolled a 97 outcome failure. Ugh, that's going to leave a red stain.
Wants to believe it would bring a
and some global research has been completed, not by me as the key player, so we won't get to set the next project, but that's all right. We're starting to make a little bit of
Our
progress.
supporters are in place.
Please let it be. Yes, okay, good. We comfortably took the Czech Republic,
Our
so our
supporters
little
are in
European
place.
enclave grows bigger, and we've also gained control of a point in Afghanistan. I'm not entirely sure that I
cancelled.
even meant to do that, but you know what? I'm pleased nonetheless. And another alien fleet arrives in low Earth orbit, but that is absolutely nothing to worry about because at the moment we are in phase 1, secure Earth. Still, we haven't quite moved to industrialized space just yet. That's what all of these resources up here are largely based around, by the way, if you were curious. And a UFO's crashed down on Earth in Brazil. Fantastic. We'll explore that immediately this turn, or as soon as we can reassign some counselors. We might get old Sally Yan, or maybe our journalist on that, actually. I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look. Who can do this mission? Sally, investigate alien activity. She's on it.
On the way to the target.
She's all over it. I knew she had a use case. We just haven't seen it very often. Should we try the crackdown again? 74%, just to mess with them? I think we shall. And actually, in this case, I can up it to an 84%. Let's do that. That should be all but secure.
Ready for orders.
And then Amy, who decided to pop over to Afghanistan, I think on accident. Sorry, Amy. Your job is really actually back here. Why don't you go and get New Zealand back for us? Neat.
Ready
And
for
then we
my
just have
mission.
Paulina, who is slowly sweeping across the European continent. This German territory is very valuable. Although we do actually have a better chance of grabbing Sweden.
We'll be running this
82%
place
chance,
in no time.
and it's a useful territory. It's a core economic region. Let's do it. Oh, this is exciting. We're actually starting to spread across the world a little bit. Very good. We can swap to population worldview as well. Per capita GDP. That would be useful for identifying control points initially, because GDP is, of course, a big player. Overall number of control points. Military technology level. Fairly useful overlay. Boost income. Unrest. Faction popularity. That's the one I was actually looking for. But firstly, our crackdown was a success this time in Somalia. Eat shit. And secondly, and more importantly, here is our faction popularity overview. If we
We found
find
something.
us, finish that alien
Our
activity as
presence
well.
is growing.
And we got Sweden. That is fantastic.
Our presence is growing.
Algeria as well. Why not? Okay, so faction overview. Where's our European hub? It's not looking too hot, but it's all right. Faction control. You can see that most of the territories are still somewhat neutral, right? We've got a nice little blurb down here. A couple in the middle here, but largely there's still plenty to grab control of. We're going to immediately grab control of the second part of Sweden here
Putting
as
our
well.
people
Build
in
up our
place.
European expansion.
orders?
Sally has finished researching this alien activity, and while she's here in South America, she's going to establish a presence for us in Bolivia as well. Because
Putting
why
our
not?
people in place.
Nice work, Sal.
At your service.
Crackdown completed here. I wonder if we want to now conduct a public campaign. Probably not spending $640. I think we can spend $40 and get away just fine. To convert the people of Somalia to our political interests.
Standing by.
Why, you may ask? Literally no reason. Literally none. But let's continue to sweep across here. Here's actually some oil that we could get Amy onto while she's not in New Zealand. Sorry, New Zealand.
We'll be
We're going to
running this
grab
place in no
control
time.
of Libya instead. My bad. And with that, as we roll through towards the Christmas season, now I'm going to end this video here. Thank you very much for joining me for this early access look at Terra Invicta. Thank you to Hooded Horse, the publisher, who gave me a key to quickly look at this a couple of days early, ahead of its early access release. I would encourage you to go and check it out. It's very fun, a very detailed and complex geopolitical simulator. And I'm keen to play some more of it as well, if you're keen to see it. So let me know below, and if there's appetite, I will be back for more. And until next time, I'll see you then.